Hi, my name is Gabe Walker, and today I'm going to be talking about my project focused on case studies and AACSB accreditation. To start us off today, I've got a little bit of context. So a member of a former cohort, Veronica Wild, who came in the cohort before mine, noticed a very specific problem as she was starting up her project. And that problem was a limited number of case studies available in the outdoor industry and focused on the outdoor industry, taking principles that we would learn about normally in MBA graduate level courses and applied specifically to the outdoor industry. That limited the instructing options for the professors at Western Colorado University in this very unique program that we have here, specifically limiting them from being able to use high quality case studies that relate well and are interesting to the students that they're teaching. So with that, she came up with a project of writing and compiling a series of case studies that could be published online on our website, published in journals, published on the OIA website. She wasn't entirely sure. Her main goal was to collect a number of case studies that could be used in classes. With that, some of the case studies that she worked on and that she gathered were case studies on Chopwood Mercantile, which is in Crescent Butte, Gunny Bags, and Cotopaxi. In addition to that, I took on part of that project as part of my project and continued to gather case studies. She had an ambitious goal of about 7 case studies that she wanted to gather, which she unfortunately wasn't able to make. My goal was to add at least 2 additional cases. So I helped a little bit with the Cotopaxi case and with the Chopwood Mercantile case. The Chopwood Mercantile case specifically, seeing as that's one of the cases that I worked on, was specifically focused on small, medium organizations and B Corp certification, which is a strategic decision that I had the opportunity to run said case with a group of undergrads as part of this project. In addition to that, I'm also currently in the process of writing a case for Blue Ridge Paddling, which is an organization started by one of our cohort members in Erwin, Tennessee, specifically focused on paddling. But with that, beyond just having these case studies, there's a question of what else can we do with these case studies? There was a desire to not only be able to use these case studies in class, but also have these case studies mean something more to Western Colorado University. We wanted these case studies to be meaningful and helpful in the long term, helping Western achieve the goals that Western has. So with that, the business school at Western Colorado University is currently pursuing AACSB accreditation. So AACSB stands for the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business. Western has a standard accreditation, as all higher education universities do, at least the legitimate ones. But as a state organization, or as a state school specifically, Western does have a degree of accreditation for the education that they provide. On top of that, Western is pursuing what is considered kind of the gold standard for business schools, which is this specific accreditation with this organization. This is an accreditation that really helps schools set themselves apart as organizations that are able to meet really high standards in education, in instruction, and in research. So with that, this accreditation, and it's set differently by different universities. The universities make the decision with the accrediting council. Something that is consistent across the board, however, is high publication numbers. And so that's not necessarily a few professors publishing frequently. That's a breadth of the instructors at a university publishing very frequently. So most of the professors at Western, to achieve this accreditation, Most of the professors at Western will be required to publish some kind of academic information or participate in other scholarly activities, such as poster presentations or sitting on peer reviews of journals. Part of this process also required an identification of model universities. So part of what I was tasked with helping Western Colorado University approach AACSB accreditation was identifying 3 universities that we could use as model universities. Universities that we can look at that are already AACSB accredited and use as models, use their information, use all of the standards that they've set, all the goals that they've set, what percentage of their professors are publishing, things to that degree. Western is required to identify 3 universities, at least 3 universities that they would like to emulate or have be model universities. So in my work, I identified 3 universities that, for varying reasons, match up as good model universities with AACSB accreditation for Western to pursue and try to emulate through this process. All 3 of these universities, Colorado Mesa University, Southeastern Oklahoma State University, and the University of Maine, all 3 of them have online degrees in their MBA programs. All 3 of them are close to recreational opportunities and serve similar demographics and have similar size and similar size communities, with the exception of Colorado Mesa University, which is in Grand Junction, which is much larger than Gunnison. Colorado Mesa University was chosen specifically because it serves a very specific, similar Western Colorado student population. Very close university as far as distance to Western is. And so there's a lot of rapport, a lot of communication, a lot of instruction that happens between the 2 universities, a lot of collaboration. Second university is Southeastern Oklahoma State University, which was chosen for its unique higher education opportunities, as well as the points that I mentioned earlier. As Western has a very unique MBA degree that it's looking to have accredited, which is, this program, the Outdoor Industry MBA, Southeastern Oklahoma State University similarly has odd and interesting, uncommon higher education opportunities that are accredited by AACSB, such as Native American Affairs and Women's Studies MBAs. And then the University of Maine, similar to the other 2, like I mentioned, has online programs and higher education MBAs, graduate level coursework, but was specifically chosen because of the demographics of students, the size of the school, size of the community, and its proximity to pretty much nothing. It's in a rural part of Maine. It's not close to any major cities or hubs or ports or anything to that degree. It's very remote and is popularly visited for individuals that are looking and seeking outdoor recreation. So these are 3 universities that were specifically identified as being similar to Western in one degree or another, that would be good programs, good schools for Western to try and emulate. So to connect our dots that we've got a long-term vision of case studies, and then we've got providing AACSB accreditation. To merge those 2 together, beyond just having case studies, the goal is to take these case studies that are being used in these courses and have been written by professors and students, and use these case studies as a launching pad for many of our faculty members to be able to publish and reach those high accreditation or high publishing numbers, high scholarly activity numbers that the accreditation committee is looking for. The idea specifically with this was to create a program where students are working collaboratively with professors as they go through the Outdoor Industry MBA coursework, identifying subjects that are of interest to them in the outdoor industry space, whether it be in Jennifer's class or independent research. Jennifer's class focused on case studies or independent research, being able to take information that they're interested in, apply it to what they're learning, work with professors toward publication, and then ideally the professors would be able to then complete that work, publish that work, and that would count toward both accreditation and reaccreditation. Just helping those professors be able to take the next step and be able to have a solid, steady stream of potential publications coming their way, while also helping the students by first giving them quality materials to learn from, and second, giving them an opportunity to publish, especially if they're interested in pursuing higher degrees, specifically doctorate degrees, anything that's in academia. And then the second aspect is ideally those case studies being published by the professors, as mentioned, would provide support to Western. It would be able to help Western both achieve and continue to re-achieve accreditation moving forward in the future. So moving forward, there's a lot of opportunity as the courses that the Outdoor Industry MBA has mold and change with differing populations, different cohorts. Students will continue to be encouraged to work on case studies, to work on publishing with professors. Professors will again be required by the AACSB. A certain percentage, at least, of professors will be required to publish. So there's always room for growth. There's always room for opportunity there to connect those two populations to help both of them learn, grow, and improve. There's no formal plan set in place right as of now for where this project goes from here, though the Chopwood case has been submitted for publication, and the Gunny Bags case that was mentioned earlier is currently in the review process with some of our faculty. So a special thank you to my program sponsor and my overseeing professor, Dr. Borden and Dr. DeBoer, as well as Dr. Plant, who has expressed a great degree and deal of interest in publishing cases and agreed to review the cases that were completed, as well as Veronica Wild for her work done before in setting up this project. So special thank you to all of those individuals, and I will take questions.